Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 16 of the Create Don't Hesitate podcast. I'm your host, Zackary, and today's episode is about hesitation is hesitation is the enemy of our life. And before we begin this podcast, here's a little bit about what it's about. So, this podcast is about when you have dreams you want to accomplish, but there's fears that hold you back from achieving those dreams. And this podcast is for Gen Z creatives and people mostly, but this is for anyone who finds this podcast. And it's just about when you have things that you want to accomplish, but there's things that set you back, and going into the unknown scares you a little bit. And this podcast gives you insights and encouragement to step out into your fears. So, hesitation takes our time, our focus, and redirects our path to our goals, and it holds us back from really stepping out into the things we want to accomplish, right? Whether this is whatever you guys want to accomplish, whether it's meeting new people, working to your dreams, just in general, like putting in that grunt work and things like that. You know, hesitation can pull you back, right? Because when you hesitate to do something, you kind of get in your head, and getting your head and just constantly going over the things that you could be doing or the things that you want to be doing, and just overanalyzing, what you want to do. For example, this could look like when you want to meet a new person. For example, myself, I've in school wanted to meet new people, just in high school or at lunch, in middle school. And I'd always be like in my head, okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna go say hi to this person, and then I don't, because fear, right? And because I hesitate, and then I get in my head. So that there's this, you kind of get in this cycle of hesitating to step out into your fears because you're unsure of the outcome, right? You're unsure of what might happen. And if I get straight to the point, guys, when you step out into your fears, you get to the other side and you meet that new person, it's not so scary after all, right? And this is just so inspiring to know, because when you not only realizing this, that when you step into your fears, it's not so scary in the end. Maybe through the process or at first it's a little bit scary to experience, but once you get through that, you build confidence, you build resilience, and you just build yourself up overall, and just continue improving, continue becoming more outgoing, and becoming more extroverted, and becoming more comfortable with yourself, more comfortable in your skin. And when hesitation just takes it out, right? Because it gets you stuck in your head. And now, is hesitation always a bad thing? No, because when you hesitate, that's like a safety mechanism for your body and for yourself as a person, right? Because you might hesitate to do something because, right, you may fear the outcome, yes, but it's also a safety thing, right? One example may be when you start driving. Now, currently for myself, I haven't started driving yet. I only drove my parents' cars like a couple of times, like around the onto our driveway. That's about it. Not quite to the permit stage yet. But anyways, this example of when you start driving, let's just say, you might fear getting started because you don't know how fast the car might go. You're like looking out for like different cars that are coming by. When you pull out of your driveway, you're like, okay, let's look right, let's look left. As you learned from when you're a kid, your parents tell you, hey, look left. I think it's like left, right, left before you go crossing the street, right? Because you're checking for cars. So it's the safety thing where you gotta be in check with the safety precautions around you, the safety things around you that may be a problem, or maybe something you just have to be aware of so that you don't get hurt. And you want to be hit by a car. That's the thing. So anyways, I know that's an extreme example, but just there's going to be times where we fear stepping into the unknown. We fear stepping into the things that we know we're called to do, that we know God wants us to do, and we don't do those things because, right, there's that setback. There's that thing that we don't quite know what it is, and simply, it's mostly just in your head. It's mostly just maybe you caring what other people think. You're fearing the outcome. You've never done an experience before, so you're not quite sure how to go about that. And yes, at first that can be a little scary. I can feel you guys on that. For me, when I was doing announcements for the first time in my freshman year of high school, first time doing talking over the intercom, sharing, the announcements and stuff, that was scary. I was concerned, how my voice would come out and if I would share it properly, or if I spoke too fast. And the first time around, I actually did pretty good. But after doing it for a week or something, I got better, right? Just because you get in the environment to where you get into an environment where you have to upgrade yourself, where you have to become a certain version of yourself, you have to become a certain person. And for me, when I was doing announcements, I had to become a more confident, more calm person with how I speak over the intercom, because I have to speak audibly where people can understand. So that was a little drag on there, but I think that was a really important example to talk about. It takes our time. And by taking our time, it just leaves us in a cycle, even if it's just a few minutes a day, right, in a bunch of different situations, like you hesitate to, communicate something to someone that it's important, communicate some small details, but just over the little fears that, don't mean anything, really, right? It takes our time, it takes our focus, and, when we focus on hesitation, we create more hesitation. We create that feeling of doubt, that we don't know what's going to happen, so we doubt ourselves, and we don't take action, right? So it's just almost like a repetitive loop. And I'll talk about the repetitive loop in another podcast episode and in some more content on other platforms, and just showing you how to overcome that and how to push past that. And I'm sharing you all of this information just from personal experiences and things I've learned. So that's why I'm making this podcast for you guys. Not only this episode, but this overall show, because I want to, inspire you guys to step out into your dreams. Because when you step out into your dreams, you feel so much more alive. You feel, even, it's going to be scary along the process of following your dreams. It's going to require your work ethic and discipline and persistence and humility, listening to other people's ideas and other people's feedback about what you're doing, in terms of listening to others' ideas and perspectives on how to improve your craft. And this could be examples from other mentors that are higher than you, or your parents, other people, and just God's calling for your life. So it redirects our path towards our goals, right? Because when we hesitate, in some ways it could be good, because it teaches us that when we hesitate, it kind of shows us that what we are chasing after may not be what we're supposed to chase after, right? It may not be our calling, it may not be where we're supposed to go. And that's kind of why we pull back, because we think, okay, well, if I make these actions, how is it going to affect my life, right? So hesitation can be good, but it can also be not good in one sense. So there's two sides to the coin, right? So hesitation is not all a bad thing. So I don't want you guys to think about that on this podcast, right? When I say create, don't hesitate, that doesn't mean don't hesitate as in it's really bad to do that, to wait and think about things and really put things into perspective and be self-aware about what you really want to do. 100% stay grounded and stay focused on making the right choices and just making a choice, okay? Hesitation a little more on the deeper side of things can lead to different insecurities and self-doubt, discouragement, I don't know about self-disrespect, but just by self-disrespect, I mean knowing that we're not accountable to ourselves. When we're not accountable to ourselves and the people around us and our craft and God's calling for our lives, it can have a toll on us in a way. So it can also lead to regret. Like, you don't have to let it, lead to regret, but it's kind of a perspective thing and just how you go about the situation. This can also lead to low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and different things. There's a bunch of different words you can use. I could use, of course, that you could focus on. But just leading to low self-esteem and just low self-esteem is something really interesting to talk about. It's an interesting point, being self-esteem is our like emotional state and how our emotional joyful state, and it's just something that when we allow situations to control us, we that self-esteem takes a toll on us, right? It lowers down, and that may lower our confidence, that may lower a couple of other things, which in some cases is not a bad thing because you get to experience growing from that, which is good too, growing and gaining more confidence and things like that. So you can always grow from your struggles, you can always grow from certain situations, and you can grow from the things that you're in control of. You can't control the uncontrollable, but you can control what you have the capability to control. So, and you have the power to control your actions, to decide what you want to do, and it's not always about what you want to do, but about what God has for you. So don't, remember that and know that God has a plan for you, the Lord has a plan for you, and He's guiding you in your every steps. And when you place your life into the Lord and read Scripture, it improves your life so much. And yeah. And yes, there's going to be times when your life is hard. Being a Christian, it can be hard. Following Jesus is hard. But when you follow His plan for your life, you sometimes, it's still scary. You still have the regular problems and fears and things that you go through, but you also have someone to lean on, right? You have the Scripture to lean on. You have your, church friends to lean on. And I feel like that's just so encouraging, because when you have a group of friends or a group of, if your family or community that you can lean on for help and for encouragement and for advice, that's just so encouraging, right? And you guys know why. You guys have your friends, you guys have your cliques, you guys have your groups, your people, small group, right? Your youth groups. You guys have those people in your life, and it's also in your control who you decide to hang around, right? Because the people that you hang around, you've heard it before, the people you hang around influence you, right? And if you surround yourself around people that have the dreams that you have, right? For example, if you're like a music artist, or you enjoy wood projects, you enjoy making things, you're a gamer maybe, through whatever dreams you guys have, you can you can put in the actions to achieve those dreams. And yeah, hesitation can take a toll on that, but it's also important to push past your fears a little bit, get over that hump, get over that of that stuff that holds you back. I can close the door, please. Close. Alright, good. Okay. Alright, so yeah. So that to really take a close on this episode and this point, I just want to show you guys how when you hesitate to do things and you don't take action, it could affect not only yourself and how you feel, but it can affect the people around you. And when you follow your dreams, it impacts the people around you, right? So that's just something else that's just inspiring to know, that to keep you going to your dreams, to keep you going to things that you want to accomplish, is just knowing that your actions affect other people. And yeah, so that's also something to not be scared of, not be afraid of, but to be self-aware about. And yeah, it's an important thing to think about. So if you guys have any questions about this episode so far, feel free to message me on Instagram or leave a review on this podcast. We are going to be closing in a few minutes. However, as we close, there's been times I've hesitated to, as I mentioned earlier, meeting new people has been something. And if you guys want to meet other new people, but you kind of fear stepping out of your comfort zone and meeting those new people, I have an episode number 11 called The Fear of Social Interactions and How to Overcome and Battle This. So this is something I've kind of been through, so I feel I have a little bit of knowledge on it. So feel free to check out that episode 11, The Fear of Social Interactions, if you want to kind of improve your area in that life, in that area of your life. So that's going to be today's episode. I appreciate you guys listening. And I know there's some times where it's been a little bit quiet, maybe a little bit awkward in terms of, just those quiet those quiet moments in the podcast episode. Yes, I got it. Yay. But, it's something I'm working on. It's something I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this to show you guys that there's hope and there's a way to continue improving yourself. And the process of continually improving yourself is a lifelong process, right? It's something you're going to be facing with yourself and with God and with the people around you every day. So, again, thanks for listening to this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me, whatever platform you feel free to. And I love you guys so much. I hope these episodes have brought you value so far, and if you have enjoyed them, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being a listener, even if it's just, no matter the numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 8 people, 100 people, everyone that's listened to this episode and this podcast so far, I wanted to say I appreciate you guys, and my gratitude goes out to you guys, and you guys are just wonderful, and that's just my message for you guys. So remember, as I say in my recent content, get up, get moving, and live an inspired life. I'll see you in the next episode. What's the next episode about? I have an interview I did with a gentleman called Marcus the Knight. You can check him out on Instagram. I'll leave his handle in the YouTube description and the description of this podcast episode, wherever you're listening. So you can go check him out, Marcus the Light. And is it Marcus the Light or Marcus the Knight? I don't know. I'll leave it in the description below and you guys can check it out. But yeah, so that'll probably be my next episode that I'm going to share with you guys. I did that interview with him a few weeks ago, I think, or yeah. But that'll be the next one for you guys. Either that one or another one. But if it's not that interview, then check it out on my computer here. 15. What do we got next? I have all my notes on my computer of all the episodes I'm doing. So if you guys do want to make a podcast, feel free to get out a notepad on your phone, preferably phone, because writing down all these ideas on a journal is not always the best. But get out your phone pad or your computer and write down some podcast ideas if you wanna go down this route. you want to go down this path, I really encourage you guys to do it, because it builds your communication skills, it builds your your social skills, presentation skills, and public speaking, all that sorts of stuff. Let's see, life is looking for an episode here. Yeah, so the next episode would be life is a matter of choices. So each individual choice we make in a day affects the outcome of our day, and will impact how we feel about ourselves. So that's the next episode. Life is a matter of choices. Either that episode or the interview episode, whichever one comes first, will be that. So again, I appreciate you guys listening. All love, all encouragement headed your way, and I'll see you next time, guys. Feel free to check out all my other socials in the description below. I'm really active on Instagram and YouTube, stuff like that. So I love you guys. Bye.
Hey.